Okay, did you get that? Moving on. Welcome. If you have arrived here, you're well off the beaten path. You're in the shadows of Pride Rock land. This is Rich with Unlimited Cards, and I am a nobody. How do I want to start this? Just figured I'd make a quick update on something I noticed. And where should we start? When I first started with my business here, I'm not a store, I'm not WPN, I don't have a brick and mortar location. I've been thinking about opening one for a number of years now, but just weighing a lot of things and just happy with what I'm doing right now. I have other work, brings in income. This is something that I do on the side where I sell mostly singles, which is a very brutal market. And I get a return from buying bulk lots or, collections from other people, or I open boxes for a return or whatever. And then obviously, like some of my other videos, I hold on to sealed product for a greater return down the line. And since I don't have the overhead that a lot of people have, I can sit longer. Just is what it is. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to do was really just holding on to like sealed product. That was a very important piece of this business model that you want to say, or whatever I'm doing here. So every single year when I'm like reviewing the inventory that I have and that I'm holding on to, I like to track the prices. A big thing is, with eBay, you can go pretty far back. TCG Player, you can't, but TCG Player has better metrics than eBay. They don't really have like a price chart of how things have done over time. So I keep track of it myself. I am always like working on just like where am I at? And of course, I don't do it like monthly or weekly. I actually do it yearly. At the end of the year, I check all my inventory. I see like, has it moved up? Has it moved down? And frankly, I've gone through quite a few years here where everything has just been red. We went through an abysmal time. That's part of like the story here. But I track prices at the end of the year. I look at them throughout the year, of course, extreme price movements you hear about and things like that, but really it's a yearly thing. And then I make decisions for the next year of like what I want to sell or what I'm still holding on to. And obviously, I'm holding on to most of the things I've been holding on to for years. But if I ever have a need or whatever, I know what to sell. Now, of course, the price could change, from the end of the year to like the middle of the year. But so I have to check before I sell things, obviously. But, that's just kind of keeping track of it every single year. And it creates a timeline of just understanding where I'm at, where the products are at, and across the board with different games. And we go from there. So 2022 and 2023 were pretty, they, I guess the word for it is pretty abysmal years. It was really bad. I don't think many people understand that because the lifespan of people who play this game is really short. I mean, people come back, but it's in blips. And people who sell or invest or, are part of that kind of side of things, they don't last too long, most of them. So we started out, I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole story. A lot of people know about this. Other YouTubers talk about this. Maybe I'll make a video on another. I may have already made it. Who knows? But I mean, it was a combination of like Commander Baldur's Gate, everything that happened with that. We're just summarizing. We have the Magic 30th that came out. We have the dumping of products on Amazon, the management of Hasbro, and like all these things converged, right? Into this giant like trifecta, quadfecta, whatever the heck it is, of just complete destruction of Magic itself, the brand, the IP, whatever you want to say. And for most people it was an abysmal time, especially if you're a store and you have overhead, because when things go down and you can't sell them, then you can't pay for your bills. It's a very dark time for people. We have to understand that. But for people like me, where like seeking opportunity, that was one of the greatest times I had seen, in my investing career, which is really not that long, but one of the most abysmal times where, I drove in and just bought anything I could get. Of course, I dove mostly into vintage and bronze era magic, which nothing happened there, but I did get Pokemon. I did, load up on some Pokemon, and I loaded up on some newer magic too. So we saw some extreme gains there, but mostly things didn't really move. And I was looking back at my charts, and what I found was what's really interesting is at the end of this year, finally, I have quite a few green numbers. Every year before this has been just red. Yes, we were in a bull run last year, but a lot of the sealed product that I have just did not move up. If I was selling it, I'd be selling it at a loss, and then I'd be taking an even bigger hit with like shipping and all these fees. And so I sat with it. Is that the best strategy? I don't know. This is me. I'm rich. Nobody cares about me. I'm probably going to get one view on this video. But I track this stuff, and for years and years, I would just laugh. Like, I'd be down 70, 80, 30, 40%, it's like, it was abysmal. It was so crazy. And you just kind of gotta laugh. If you're not able to laugh, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. But this year, I'm noting that quite a few things are in the green. Or, if they've had a 70, 80% drop, they're maybe like at 20, 30% drop. Or, I'm probably averaging, I never really did an average. I'm probably averaging, I'm down maybe like 5, 10%, which, 2022, 2023, you could easily just say I was down probably like 40% across the board, on average. That's just a random guess. I don't really know what the number is. But I found something that was super interesting while I was looking at it. Hey, it didn't fall when I brought it over. See, I didn't know what to do with this. Do I put it here? No, but you guys see how about like this? Yeah, there we go. Professional channel. What? Hey, like, is anyone tracking the price of this other than me? Am I the only one? Like, nobody cares. What is so beautiful about this? Like, if you want to be in this space, what is so beautiful about it is the way you go about it, right? If you go about it all wrong, it looks like a disaster, right? What I'm doing here looks kind of disastrous, right? But we're making it. We're making it. Like, we still got a long time in our lives. But just the single fact of me tracking the prices of all these booster boxes over all these years, it creates like this historical data, and you can learn from yourself. The problem with like listening to YouTubers, which is me right now, is you're going to hear the now moment, right? And you really need to do like extra work of visually looking at the market over a long period of time. And also, since your brain forgets, you need to write things down and watch for trends, however you do it. I do it yearly. I really don't want to track shit for every single month. Maybe, if I have an LGS or something, I make that a little quicker. Right now, every single year, just tracking is fine. So these are end of the year prices. And I came across this. These boxes on eBay and TCG Player, I don't have the numbers. They're rocking like $1,500 per box. This this is right here. This is just for show. Like I don't even think these have moved quite a bit. But these boxes are like $1,500. Now, for anybody that's watching me, like the one person, if you happen to be in like 2021, you would say that's no big deal. It was the same price in 2021, right? Like literally this thing has not moved. I bought it, was it 2022? Did I buy this? I don't know. And so I haven't made anything on, I think I'm down on this, right? But what's crazy is that these tanked. This is the interesting part. They tanked. And I did the numbers at the end of 2022 and they tanked at, I think the lowest I got to, it was like 885 for a box. I'm willing to bet sometime in those years, people probably paid 800 or less for some of these boxes. And now they're back to $1,500. Like that's like a Pokemon movement. That's like a Lord of the Rings movement. Not as quick, if you choose a chunk of time, but over a lifespan, that's like one of those. Uh, give or take. But it blew my mind. Every other vintage product is, I thought maybe it's because of Alice, right? I watch a lot of old school and vintage Magic. Maybe the new Alice format. And for those of you that don't know, Alice, Al Alliances, is Ice Age, right? So they have a format where you play like Ice Age and Alliances. But then you look at the boxes of Alliances and they're down from their highs at 2021. And those are the ones that have like more valuable cards. I mean, Alliances has Force of Will in it. There are what is there for reserve list cards? Like 45, 50 cards for reserve list? A lot of those are way worth more than Ice Age. So my question is like, what is going on with this? No other vintage product has had that much of a price appreciation from its low at the most abysmal time. So what's going on? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me what's going on with these? Clear winner. Our winner is Ice Age. Not Fallen Empires, not Homelands, not Alliances, not Mirage, Ice Age. Why? Like, if this was any other booster box, if it dove down to 885, it'd probably be like just under 1,000 now. 1,500. Did I just catch the moment when everybody sold theirs and now the price looks elevated? And really, I'm sharing you guys this video like a week later here. People are just like, oh, well, actually, Rich, they're under $1,000 now. Maybe. I haven't checked it in a week. What? Congratulations, Ice Age, for being the greatest appreciating item in the vintage era that I've seen. Of course, I don't quite see everything. Congratulations. And that's all I have to say. With so much negativity around vintage Magic, look at the price appreciation on this. Congratulations. That's all I got for you today. Enjoy.